Hey friends, and welcome back to another Crochet Diaries video. So you know those videos on TikTok where someone is telling a story, but you're actually watching a video of someone doing something else? I actually kind of like watching those and I find them satisfying, yet I enjoy the story that's being told at the same time. So I figured that I'd try that at least in the first part of this video. So right now I'm just crocheting a panel for a pillow using the arrow stitch. This is the last design for the month of January using the arrow stitch. And then I can finally get to work writing all of these patterns up for you guys and get them into your hands. So in my last video, I was stranded in Chicago with my sister for a week due to the weather. We had driven back together after my uncle's services, and the plan was that I would ride out there with her and then just rent a car the rest of the way to Kansas City to visit with my husband for a while. Now, it's a 2-day drive from Kansas City to New York, and I've already made that drive several times, so I was really just wanting to avoid putting more miles on our Jeep. So that's why I decided to ride out with my sister and then just rent a car the rest of the way. As soon as we got to her house in Chicago, I got right to work, working on reserving a rental car so that I could continue on to Kansas City. I quickly found out that trying to rent a car was nothing short of a nightmare. I then proceeded to call 2 other well-known companies in the area, and it was the same song and dance with them as well. But I guess it's just as well because the weather in the Midwest was quickly taking a turn for the worst, and my sister and I just decided that I would stay there until the worst of it was over. And then that would give us some time in the meantime to figure out how I was supposed to get to Kansas City from her house. Unfortunately, flying or taking the train was out because I had my dog Wilbur with me, plus I had far more things with me than just 1 or 2 suitcases. You guys, I was literally traveling with an entire tote of yarn, plus several bags, a suitcase, and a box of wine. Surprise, surprise. Well, we finally came up with a plan that seemed like it would work for everybody. So since Kansas City is only a 7-hour drive from Chicago, we decided that we would meet halfway in Missouri, meaning my sister would drive me to Missouri and my husband would meet us there. And then I would just go on to Kansas City with my husband from there. But of course, we still needed to wait until the weather was better. Everything had cleared up after a week. However, now we were dealing with temperatures of -16 degrees with wind chills of up to -35. And unfortunately, the day that we decided to travel was the only day that worked for everybody. So we ventured out into the frigid outdoors and hit the road. And not 5 minutes down the road, you guys, my sister's tire pressure light comes on, and given the extreme temperatures, this was no surprise to us, but no problem. We'll just go to the gas station up here and fill up her tires, right? Well, unfortunately, the air compressor at the gas station had no air pressure, again, due to the extreme cold. But we decided we would try somewhere else just in case if this particular air compressor was just broken or something. So we drove to 2 more gas stations and it was the same at both. It was just too cold for these air compressors to work. So now we're just sitting there looking at each other like, okay, now what? It's too cold to risk driving with low tires. So she decided she'd call her father-in-law, whose garage is heated, and we knew that his air compressor would be in working order. And thankfully, he was already up that early in the morning. So we just drove over to his place really quick, and he was more than happy to let us use his air compressor. Finally, we were able to hit the road. So I called my husband to let him know we were finally on our way, and he let me know that there was no heat in his truck. So I told him, you know what, it's no problem. Just bundle up with lots of layers, go to Walmart, stock up on hand warmers. Our trip has already been delayed by 1 week, and I just want to get home to be with him. So we forged ahead to our halfway point in Missouri. We did finally arrive to Missouri. We met at the most adorable coffee shop in Hannibal, Missouri. We enjoyed hot drinks, grilled cheese sandwiches, and big bowls of warm soup to warm us up on that frigid day. Once we were finished with our lunch, it was now time to unpack my sister's car and transfer everything to my husband's truck. So I went out to my sister's car, started pulling my things out. I shut the door and walk around to the other side of the car so that I could empty out that other side as well. And once I got to the other side, I realized that I had locked the keys inside the car. Great. My husband, bless his heart, tried to get into my sister's car with a wire that he actually had in his truck, but to no avail. So we ended up having to call the police to come open her car for us. Thankfully, we were able to stay warm inside the coffee shop while we waited for the police to come and open her car. Once we had everything inside my husband's truck, it was time to make our way back down to Kansas City. Finally, we were on the road again. We did actually have to make a couple stops just to stand inside a warm gas station and to refill our hot drinks so that we could just stay as warm as possible for the ride. But we did finally make it to Kansas City, and yes, we made it back to our RV, and it was so nice to finally be warm after that long ride.
So now I'm back here in the Kansas City area for a little while. So for those that don't know, because I know I've gotten a lot of new followers lately, my husband is currently working out here in Kansas City until July. So I travel back and forth between our home in the Finger Lakes in upstate New York and out here to Kansas City in the meantime. So this is our camper that my husband lives in full time while he is out here working. I know you guys are used to seeing me film in my tiny cabin, but we also have this camper as well. Now we are not off grid here. I'm off grid. Our tiny cabin is off grid, but we're not off grid here. We're actually parked at an RV park, a really nice one actually, but it's in a rural area. It's super quiet, and I do really enjoy being here. So for the time being, you can expect to see me vlogging in our camper. So I want to show you some of the progress that I've made on the projects that I was showing you in my last vlog. Now, I don't think I showed you this at all, but this is the matching pillow panel. I haven't, I'm working on the back panels right now, but this is going to be a set with that blanket that I showed you last week. All right, so apparently my projects were not in that tote. I forgot that I put them in this bag, so I'm going to show you what's in my bag. So if you remember in my last vlog, I had decided that I was going to do strips with the harvest stitch. Well, I have, I think I have 6 strips now. All right, so I've got 6 strips total here. This is what they look like with the harvest stitch. I'm going to make 7 to complete the blanket. I have not done the 7th one yet because I'm going to film a tutorial. So I'm holding off on making that 7th one. But basically I'm going to sew, or not sew. I'm not going to sew. There's no sewing. I'm going to attach all of these strips lengthwise. I don't know if you can visualize this. I'm going to attach them all lengthwise and put tassels at the bottom of each color strip, and I think it's going to be really pretty. Now, this scarf that I showed you guys in my last video, I have made 0 progress on this because I ran out of yarn, which I'm pretty sure I told you in the last video as well. So I ran out to the Joann out here in Kansas City, and thankfully they had the color that I needed. So now I can work on finishing up that scarf and putting on the pockets and the tassels, and I'm going to make those, I don't know if you remember those fingerless gloves I showed you. I'm going to remake them. I don't know if they're in here. Oh, yes. Oh, wait, did I show you my bag? I finished my bag with we got both handles here. It's a little crumpled because it was in the bottom of my bag. But look how cute this is. I can't remember if this was finished in my last video or not, but I love, love, love how this bag turned out. So anyways, yes, my fingerless gloves, let's see, this is the left one. Oh, I gotta take my rings off. I'm going to remake these fingerless gloves with the arrow stitch in this so that it'll match my scarf. So I have the back panel here for that pillow that I showed you in the beginning of this video. So I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to have a little chat with you guys. So right now I am on day 3 of a 3-day water fast, and let me tell you what, it's definitely no joke, but at the same time, it was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. So, like I said, today is day 3. So for the past 2 days, I have consumed just sparkling water. So these bubblies have really gotten me through. Sparkling water, warm lemon water, broth, and tea, just plain tea. I would say probably the thing that helped me the most was probably the warm lemon water and the warm broth. For some reason, the warm liquids just always kept me feeling like I was full, especially the broth, because I felt like I could season it with, I like things spicy, so I would put like cayenne pepper and Italian herbs in there, and I felt like I could eat as much broth as I wanted. Like anytime I was hungry, I could just have like a big old bowl of veggie broth. So I mostly did this water fast just to like train my mindset, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. It was just something like in my head. It felt like it was something that I could not do. It's something I've never done before. And I'm like, no, I like to snack way too much. Like there's no way I can do a 3-day fast on just clear liquids only, but I did. I mean, today's day 3, so it's not over yet, but I know I'm going to make it through today. Like, honestly, I feel like I could keep going another day or 2, but my brain already knows that I have a smoothie waiting for me in the morning, and a really nice bowl of green vegetable soup. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be done after today. But it was a really good experience and definitely something I would do again. You know, on the health side of it, I do feel a lot less bloated than I was. I feel like my fingers are always swollen, or a lot of the times they're swollen, but they have these last 2.5 days, they really haven't been. So I've definitely noticed that I'm a lot less bloated, and I did not experience like headaches or lightheadedness or, you know, anything that I thought that I would be experiencing. I didn't experience any of those things. So today I'm thinking that I want to make a sourdough starter. Now, I've never made sourdough in my life. But I do love to bake. I make pizza dough from scratch and homemade bread all the time. So I'm no stranger to working with, bread dough, but I've just never done sourdough. So I think I'm going to make a sourdough starter today and see how that goes. I feel like I really just want to make this sourdough starter just so I can use the discard, because I've seen so many really good recipes that use sourdough discard. Like, for one, English muffins. I used to make English muffins from scratch and I haven't in years, but for some reason, like, sourdough discard English muffins sound really good to me. So I think I'm just going to use my starter. I don't know. I do have a small loaf pan. See, our oven here in the camper isn't huge, so I can't make like, you know, a normal sized loaf of bread, but I do have like a small Pyrex loaf pan, so I could make a small loaf of sourdough bread. But yeah, I think I'm probably just going to use it mostly for the discard. My panel is coming along, but I am probably going to run out of yarn, so I'm just going to work until I run out of yarn. All right, so I think I'm going to get this sourdough starter started. I saved a recipe on Pinterest, so we're going to see how this goes. All right, so this flour is bleached and it's not supposed to be. I never buy bleached flour. I don't know why. I don't even know how I have this flour in this camper right now, but Anyways, I'm gonna forge ahead. We're gonna see how it goes. It's gonna be an experiment, I guess. And there she is, right there on my counter. So I don't know, we're gonna give this a go. I wasn't supposed to use bleached flour, but that's all I had, so I guess it's a gamble. We'll see if it works. Maybe it'll be a dud, who knows, but it should be fun either way. I'll make sure to link the pattern. I'm so used to talking in crochet terms. I'll make sure to link the recipe for this sourdough starter in the description of this video, so you guys can go check that out if you want to give it a try as well. This rain will not let up. It's literally been raining for days out there now. Got a cup of Constant Comment decaffeinated tea. I'm doing really well on my water consumption for the day. Only have 48 ounces left to drink to reach a gallon. I don't think it really matters. Like for this water fast, I'm not sure if it really matters how much I drink. I did indeed run out of yarn, but this is what I have done so far. So this is, I have a little bit more to go to get to the halfway point for the back panel of this pillow, but it's just single crochet because it's the back panel. So nothing fancy. All right, friends, so that is it for today's video. Go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know what you want to see in the next video. If you want to see maybe a tour of our camper, or how I store all of my yarn and projects when I am constantly on the road and living tiny, or whatever you want to see. Or maybe you want to see how my sourdough turned out, because who knows, it's a gamble, you know. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.